I think it was being obsessed with records full stop as soon as you kind of worked out what they were. And my mum had a few 7-inches and a few records, and I can remember loving the sleeves and, you know, just being besotted with the whole thing from as early as I can remember. I knew I wanted to design record sleeves for a living when I was 10. You know, end of just, that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. I kind of saw Malcolm McLaren and people like that on telly around that time, and I liked that kind of image creator kind of idea that someone is kind of orchestrating it and getting the sleeve done, as well as maybe having a hand in the production. Going to art school was about getting more into, you know, a route into the music industry. You know, that's how you got into music. You know, I was always like, I wasn't going to be designing anything but record sleeves. You know, that's why I had to learn graphic design. And it kind of worked. You know, the people that were hanging around at the art school were putting on parties, and you met people, and I managed to kind of infiltrate the sort of West London house crowd, who were pretty much the sort of early adopters of house music in this country. You know, the Watson brothers with Delirium, and what sort of turned into the Boys Own scene, and then Acid House happened, and I was just at the right age to embrace it. But what's really beautiful is getting in on it when it was just starting to find its feet. You know, house was trying to find its identity.
Well, you still have relationships with those people now, don't you? In terms of, you know, you're very obviously well known for your connection to the Junior Boys Own guys, and
yeah, I mean, I just basically they were like my heroes when I first started going to clubs proper, and they were pretty faultless. You know, an amazing fanzine which really laid out the rules for, I suppose, just being true to yourself. So getting in with them was bloody brilliant. You know, it meant that I was doing something right. You know, Terry Friday came and, you know, played for Stuart and I at Soul Sonic and other clubs we had, and it was, you know, you were very glad to be gravitating towards the people that really meant something to you. You know, like whether all the Express 2 guys, you know, those people I've been seeing them DJ for years. You know, so to get in with them, start working with them, you know, they appreciate the music you make. Brilliant, you know. That was, you know, a hardcore kind of house crowd that were, you'd always have other rooms, but essentially it was people that grew up with house and were the kind of, you know, the early adopters of it, and wanted to keep true to it, and wanted to, you know, get away from all the other sort of mainstream things that were going on with house and kind of get back to basics with it. And that was brilliant. That was really special, and that ran through the sort of tail end of the 90s.
Must have been an amazing time to be involved in it, because it was, you know, an absolute heyday. To be doing that kind of thing, wasn't it? The early 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah, it was an absolute dream. I remember picking up a record by Maurice Fulton, didn't know him from Adam, playing it to Stuart, you know, sitting with friends, you know, and it was sort of a little buzz was, have you heard this stuff? This is crazy. And then we go and track him down, and we drag him over to London, and, you know, him DJing was even more incredible than what you hear on the record. You know, Maurice was sort of winding records up to speed and then kind of letting it go, and it's effortlessly being in, you know, beat matched and away, and just, you know, he was totally right for what we were about. And you kind of have that inkling, you hear someone's music and you go and track them down, and then they deliver, and you found a kindred spirit, you know. So we ended up working with Maurice a lot, and people like Phase Action, we had them live for the first time at Soul Sonic. We had Lee John from Imagination invading the stage, which nobody knew what was going on. None of the band knew what that was all about. I've had sort of Joe Smooth turn up, be DJing at Soul Sonic, and this guy would be to your left and go, "Oh, hi, I'm Joe Smooth, just come down." He'd be like, "Okay." So I spent the whole night sort of wondering, this is Joe Smooth. And things like that would happen every week at Soul Sonic. You know, I met friends for life. It was about the people and about the time of life. I was in that time when you can really dedicate your life to being a club promoter, you know, sort of late 20s. You know, I can do it again now. You know, it's a grueling experience, but an amazing experience.
In lots of ways, yeah.
Yeah. And faith was the same. You know, faith just, you know, there was a load of goodwill from the people that came there, and they made it, and you felt like you could play records you couldn't get away with anywhere else, because the the crowd was so knowledgeable, and that was just an absolute dream. I collected it from the absolute get-go. You know, I was almost sort of wanting more. You know, you want it if you kind of know how it originated from sort of Italian stuff and from boogie, and how there was a lot of a lot of old records that sound very housey now around that time, and you can see it all emerging. It really was like this is it. I want more of this. I want more of this. Where do you find it? And you find certain shops that would sort of be in that vein. And ever since then, I've been just like an absolute disciple of it. You know, it's like all the different people that make up the sort of landscape. You know, you've got DJ Sneak, you've got Dave Clark, you've got, you know, right like now you've got, you know, The Revenge. You know, I'm just listening to Tim Green stuff, and he's so precise, and you listen to the swing he's got, and it's just, you know, it's just incredible. And it's a moving target of sort of always just having to consume this sort of one genre of music. It's like I love loads of other music, but I need to listen to loud house music, you know, every fucking day. Basically, it's sort of what floats my boat. It's all very raw. It's all very acidy and sort of.
Is this under your own
This is just
name?
Under Leo Zero, and the album's called Acid Life, and it's been in various formats. The tracks have been sitting around for, you know, seriously 10 years, you know, but there's no pressure to do it. I'm doing it for myself because it's about kind of what excites me about hearing house records, and I like records that are really kind of rudimentary and raw, and maybe the person that made them wasn't that skilled, and I'm not skilled. I'm not a trained musician, and it's, you know, it's taken me a long time to be confident enough to go, well, that's a bit ropey, but I kind of like the feel of it. And that's what that's what the album's about. And it'd probably take me 10 years to have the confidence to do it, to be honest, and go, okay, well, here's a load of music that is absolutely 100% from the heart, and I don't really care who buys it or whatever, but it's just it's a you know, a vanity project, you know, to the nth degree. But I kind of believe in that. That's the way you should make music.